Welcome, everyone. The Laurier Golden Hawks and the Saskatchewan Huskies putting their unbeaten records on the line at Ivor Wynne this afternoon. The winner completes the perfect season and celebrates with the 2005 Desjardins Vanier Cup. A lovely afternoon in many respects. It's -3. The wind will be a factor, we believe. West at 15, gusting to 20, so that's left to right across your television screen as you look at it here today. It is the first ever meeting for these two teams at any level. And when you look at the coaches and the way it lines up this way, Gary Jeffries in his 28th season at Laurier, his 3rd season as head coach, and his 3rd straight year as the Ontario Coach of the Year. Just 2 losses in his last 2 seasons in the perfect year, as mentioned earlier. Brian Tauris, coach, he began when he was 27 years of age, and he has won the big prize 3 times. So all things considered, guys, a pretty nice afternoon to play this championship game.
I think it's not a bad afternoon, but it's going to be a little chilly with that wind chill, and I think it's going to pick up as the game goes on.
The wind definitely could be a factor this afternoon, although both teams offensively love to run the football, as you heard the panel mention. David Stevens for the Huskies, and of course Nick Cameron for Laurier. So both teams like that ground game anyway.
Cameron is the All-Canadian running back this year, playing in his final game. And looking back to last year, although David Stevens didn't get a chance to play in the Vanier for the Saskatchewan Huskies, he was the All-Canadian running back out with injuries.
Well, this is just a huge matchup. You've got 2 tremendous running backs, Nick Cameron and David Stevens. The interesting thing, though, you look at Stevens, he's got all the big numbers here, but when you do yards per carry, Nick Cameron's ahead, 6.9 yards to 6.5 for David Stevens.
Stevens has had a great run through the playoffs in the 3 games he's played so far. Never been under 100 and almost at 300 in 1 game on his way out of the Canada West. Brian Tauris looks to become a winner at the Vanier for the 4th time, and that would tie him with Peter Connellan of the University of Calgary, who won his 4th Vanier back in 1995.
Now, John, just
I can't remember who he beat that year. 95, Calgary, Vanier.
I think it was a little school in London, Ontario, wasn't
that
it?
one.
Yeah. It was pretty painful, that, for those people down there in 95.
Mike Sidoric. One of a couple deep for the Huskies, along with Jordan Carroll. And ready to kick it off, Brian Devlin for the Laurier Golden Hawks. Vanier Cup 41 is underway. Carroll out across the 25. He's got about the 28-yard line, so the Huskies begin offensively with a high-powered group.
Well, the University of Saskatchewan, led by Steve Ballin, last year was the All-Canadian at quarterback position, and he is healthy this year, unlike last year in the Vanier when he threw 5 interceptions. See a lot better effort from him. There is his receiving core and a big offensive line that across the board averaged 6'3", 300.
First down. Huskies. Stevens gets the call. He's got the 30-yard line. David Stevens out of Moose Jaw, averaging 7 yards per carry.
Well, the Laurier defense are not anywhere as near as big as the Saskatchewan offense, but you know, this is a group that is very athletic. Defensive line of Cakes and Armour, Montoya and Hauer. Linebackers, a good group here with Yannick Carter, who's a real rangy linebacker, and Jesse Alexander holding down the middle. The secondary led by All-Canadian Ian Logan in the inside halfback spot, and All-Conference Jeff Smeaton.
This is 2nd and 4, and he'll get it easily. The ball came loose, and the Hawks come up with it. Laurier has the first turnover of the game deep in Huskies territory near the 40-yard line. Now, they argue about it down there, both teams pointing. And the Golden Hawks headed to the bench to celebrate. We'll wait on this for a second.
It is turned over. First turnover of the football game. Laurier takes possession around the 40-yard line. Excellent field position. One more look at the play. Simple run play to Stevens off the right side. Good contact right at the point of attack there.
So Hawks quarterback Ryan Peer, tossed 25 touchdowns on the season, gets an opportunity here with a first down at the Huskies' 40-yard line. Nick Cameron, number 32. Nice gain on first down.
Well, Ryan Peer is the All-Canadian quarterback, leading a very good group in the backfield of Nick Cameron and Brian Hickey. Offensive line, a veteran group led by all-conference players Mitch Zapatelli at left guard and Kyle Weston at right tackle.
A 7-yard gain. 2nd and 3 Hawks. Peer looks to put it up. Has his target, and he'll get a first down. Did the ball squirt loose?
I think they're ruling him down. It looked like it did come out on the way down.
Luciani made the catch.
I think he got it back, actually. I think he... It's a real nice job by Ryan Peer here. First read's not there, second read's not there, and then just dumps it over the middle to Brian Hickey, who lines up in the backfield. Actually, it wasn't Hickey who recovered. It looked like a...
Yeah, Hickey might have recovered it, and Luciani was the guy who put it on the ground.
Enough for the first down, Laurier. Cameron tries off left tackle this time. Nick Cameron.
Defensively for the Huskies up front, Ryan Gottslick leads the way. He had 9 sacks in the regular season, all-Canadian, that defensive line. They get 2 linebackers back, Morley Miller and Gabe McAsee is back in the linebacking core. They missed last week's game versus Laval, and a secondary led by Dylan Barker, the youngster at safety, who's having an outstanding playoff series.
On second down, Peer to his right, throwing on the run. He'll get a first down. No catch. Andrew Agro had it and didn't come down with it.
Ryan Barnstable came up and put a pretty good hit on him from the corner position. Another one of the Huskies, and they have a few too, Jamie, in their 5th year of eligibility. And Barnstable right there with good contact to knock it out at the point of attack.
Well, Ryan Barnstable does a nice job of getting a real good jump on the ball and then getting that right hand in there and knocking the ball away.
So the Golden Hawks will settle for a field goal attempt from 30 yards away. Brian Devlin made 17 of 21. And has decent range on the season, his longest from 47. This from 30 for the first points of the afternoon, and he's wide. After the turnover, the Laurier Golden Hawks have to settle for a single points. It's the Desjardins Vanier Cup, Huskies and the Hawks from Hamilton. Second possession for the Saskatchewan Huskies. After turning it over at the 40 to Laurier on a fumble by Stevens. Little damage done, just a 30-yard single. Land to the far side and well short of his intended target out there, Leighton Heron.
You know, Glenn, you and I were talking just prior during the break about how the teams come out here and then they go back in the locker room for a half an hour before they come back out and play. And it looked right there that Steve Millan's arm just was not warmed up. I mean, all sorts of time to throw and just really underthrew that football out in the flat, which is so uncharacteristic of him.
And especially when you look at those numbers over the season, very uncharacteristic. But you're right, it takes a while to get back warmed up again.
5 touchdown tosses in the playoffs as well for Millan. On 2nd and 10, an intended receiver goes down. That's Jeff Sheeman, but it looked like it was incidental contact. He got caught up with the defender, and their feet just tangled up. He went down.
Well, this is the kind of situation Brian Towers did not want to get into, is turning the ball over here in the first quarter against the wind. See Jeff Sheeman coming here, just gets tangled up in the feet of Yannick Carter, linebacker covering him.
56-20!
And it looked like that ball may have been well overthrown anyway.
Andy Beckler deep for the Laurier Golden Hawks. Bad snap. Sukan got it away anyway. Solid coverage on special teams for the Huskies limits the gain to 2.
And you really see the difference in these two teams' offenses already in the first half. Laurier, of course, like to move a lot of people around, run a lot of motion. They are not a static offense at all, whereas Saskatchewan are more that one-back offense, don't have a lot of motion, really are just kind of a team that wants to come straight at you and be very physical with you.
Cameron, not much there. Cameron stopped in his tracks.
It really is the classic matchup as we see these two perfect teams try and complete the perfect season. Stefan Potasic, the former Canadian Football League player, the offensive coordinator for Laurier, and a smaller team, Golden Hawks, but you talked about the motion, Jamie, and they like to misdirection.
Laurier has to rely on quickness. This is 2nd and 10. Beckler, and he's got midfield. Barnstable over to make the tackle on Andy Beckler.
Well, that was a very nice. That was a great slip screen, the way they executed that with Andy Beckler kind of going in motion again to the right side. 3-step drop by the quarterback. Pierre, 1, 2, 3, get it out there right away, and he catches him on the stride, and then he just does a good job of getting up the field. Nice block there thrown by Nick Cameron, number 32.
14-yard gain for Laurier, set up at midfield. Cameron again for 3, maybe 4 this time.
You know, guys, my discussion with Gary Jeffries before the game, he wanted to make hay in the first half against this team. Every point important.
CIS Trivia question is brought to you by Desjardins, the largest cooperative financial group in Canada. There's the question, guys.
That's the opposite sideline, and Brian Towers.
If he wins today, how many wins for Towers at the Vanier? Here, mobile. Whoa! Into double, maybe triple coverage. And the Hawks got away with one. Agro, the intended target.
You know, and Dylan Barker in the middle of that secondary comes up with yet another play, and he's going to be over here in the middle of your screen, or just to the left of your screen, I should say. Half roll there by Pierre, and watch how 20 aggressively attacks the football. And you look through the playoffs, 2 interceptions in 3 games for Dylan Barker from that safety position in his first year with the Huskies, and playing like a 5th-year eligible guy. I mean, this guy's playing like a veteran.
Devlin back at his 45 to kick it away. Leighton Heron stands near the goal line. Stopped in his tracks at the 12. Jesse Alexander leading the tacklers of 41-yard punts from Ivor Wynne, the 2005 Desjardins Vanier Cup. A perfect pairing for the 2005 Vanier Cup. A battle of unbeaten teams in their first ever meeting in Canadian University football. The Huskies from Saskatchewan and the Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawks from Waterloo. 2 high-powered offenses, although we haven't seen a whole bunch of that so far. 1 point on the board. From the 11, Huskies 1st and 10. Stevens, he's taken a couple of hits today.
Yeah, we talked earlier about how Laurier's linebackers flow so well. There's right in the middle there, number 44, Anthony Maggiacomo comes across here, scraping across, and does a nice job of tracking down David Stevens and not letting him get very much of a gain at all.
Hawks are solid and undersized. No team has run successfully for an entire game against Laurier so far in 2005. Now the Huskies might be the team to answer that. Going deep. This one is up for grabs. Carl Phillips was the intended receiver, and Smeaton, number 26, had an opportunity.
You know, I'm a bit surprised that Boland threw this because he looked initially and it wasn't there. It wasn't there, and yet he threw it anyway. It was almost picked off. You know, they're trying to run play action pass here now, try to hold the linebackers up. Boland waits. Now he's looking at Carl Phillips the whole way, overthrows it, but Phillips does a real nice job of making sure that Boland does not have his 6th pick in a Vanier Cup.
Yeah, Carl Phillips really becomes defensive back here as he knocks the ball out of the hands of Jeff Smeaton, or else that is his 6th. 5 against Laval a year ago.
Beckler is deep for Laurier. Good field position. It goes to Joel Wright.
You know, and right now, guys, Wilfrid Laurier has the jump in this game. They have momentum. That early turnover from David Stevens, it looks like, has done a couple of things. One, it's given the Golden Hawks that momentum and that jump in their step. And two, has it taken Brian Tyrus away from David Stevens a little bit?
It might have. And I also think, too, what's happened here is that Laurier is the underdog coming into this game. The closer they can make it and keep it, the more confidence they are going to get. And I tell you, they're playing like a very confident football team right now.
Second time that the Golden Hawks have begun at the Saskatchewan 40 or thereabouts. Here has a target and comes close to a first down. We'll see where they spot it on the connection to Agro.
You talk about confidence, Jamie, and it looks like they're getting that from their quarterback, Ryan Peer, right now. That was a good throw. He stepped in that pocket. I know it's a short throw to the flat, but he looks like he's got some confidence as he puts that one outside.
And, you know, it was 5 years ago when they did recruit him, and they felt that he was going to be the guy that was going to take him here to the Vanier Cup. One of the most highly recruited players in Ontario 5 years ago, was the OUA Rookie of the Year and named All-Canadian last week. And he just plays with such confidence.
Enough for the first down. Setting the Golden Hawks up with the Husky 29 and a bit.
Now, having said that, all of that confidence and all of that momentum means nothing to Gary Jeffries unless he comes away with points with the wind. And that single off the first drive, now he's got a chance here. They need to come up with at least a 3.
Right, and you think about Devlin. I mean, he was 27 to 33 in field goals. That's a chip shot for him, and in big games, you just cannot miss field goals like that.
Well, the wind will be a factor, so scoring with it, crucial for both teams.
Second and 10, Laurier. Here is pounded to the turf. The ball is loose. And all of a sudden, that field goal is not going to happen.
That's
it's a turnover going the other way.
Well, that can take away momentum pretty darn quickly. A real nice job by number 14, Brian Giebert. Defensive end. They're going to try to fake that slip screen that they ran earlier in the game, and then it looks like they're going to try to come back to the left side. Giebert comes right off the edge. He looks like they're trying to run screen. It wasn't there. Giebert hits and knocks the ball loose, and Sass has got a big turnover.
A good rush by Giebert, and Andrew Agro has to hold that block for one more second on the outside.
Even on turnovers, 1 each. First down, Huskies. Saskatchewan quarterback struggling a little bit to find his targets. Oh for 4, Steve Boland.
And, you know, we talked to him before, and he, after last year's game when he had the torn oblique muscle, was unable to play effectively, had the 5 interceptions. He made a commitment to himself that he was going to come back one more year. He said, if we had won last year, I was probably through football. But he came back and tried to get back in this game and win it.
Second and 10, Huskies. Stevens.
You know, one of the small things that Stephen Boland is going to have to do in this game, because of this quick Laurier defense, is to carry through with his fakes. If he's going to Stevens and he's running that bootleg without the football, he's got to hold the backside of that defense with his play fakes and start to generate some offense and then maybe go to play action out of it.
And I think to add to that as well, since Laurier flows so well, they have to come back with some counters or some type of reverse to get those kids to stay at home. If you stay at home, you win the size battle.
Braden Sukan in. He'll punt from his 31. Into the breeze. A one-hopper to Joe Wright. Lost the ball. Huskies all over it. Flags are down.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that he was within the 5-yard restraining zone when the punt returner got the football.
30-yard punt into the breeze.
But it was a late flag coming in.
Huskies defense basically on the field now. Likely no yards to call.
Well, once in a while.
The discussion continues.
We had no yards charged on the kicking team. It's a 5-yard penalty from point of possession. First down.
The Desjardins Vanier Cup from Ivor Wynne in Hamilton. First down, Laurier beginning at the 40-yard line. Play action fake here. As a receiver, midfield catch made by Beckler. Couldn't hang on.
Yeah, I think you kind of caught a glimpse of Mike Scheibel, number 21, coming across. They run play action pass and they bring Beckler across here, but at the last moment, number 21 is going to come in here and give him a shot right there.
But I do like the strategy, Jamie, and I like the way that right now Laurier and Vera are mixing it up. Little play action. They moved the pocket, got him outside. That's a catch that Beckler's got to come up with.
Right.
Those are plays that they're now using that offense, moving the ball around.
So the Hawks look at 2nd and 10 on the drop. And nowhere near a first down. Dante Luciani out of Oakville in his 2nd season.
Right now, offensive coordinator Stefan Batasic is, to me, calling a good game. He just needs the execution now. Now, it's easy for us to say that up in the warm booth. But it is blowing cold down there, and it's starting. The wind is starting to blow. And there's the curl right from the outside.
On 3rd down, Devlin is in, standing at the Laurier 30. Leighton Heron deep for Saskatchewan. Heron misplays it and has to retreat to the 15. Solid special team work by Laurier. Ian Logan leading the tacklers there, and Saskatchewan will start deep in the Husky zone. Laurier and Saskatchewan, a battle of the unbeaten in the Vanier Cup. TSN is your home for NFL Sunday Night Football. Tomorrow it's Oakland taking on the Chargers in San Diego. Coverage at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific Time. Available in TSN HD.
You know, the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, if they can weather this first quarter, which has really been, when you talk about field position, guys, all Laurier, weather this first quarter, they are one punt away from getting that field position back in the second quarter.
They are. I think this series is really important for both teams here.
As a result of a 50-yard punt, the Huskies begin just outside the 10. Here's Stevens. He hasn't found substantial yardage so far.
And you know, it's really, those Laurier linebackers are so athletic. I mean, they do a great job of scraping across, filling in the gaps. They always seem to have proper leverage. You know, so everybody's got them on the inside shoulder that there's really no room for David Stevens to run.
Gavin Kahn on the outside, 32 tackles the regular season, number 48. In the middle, Jesse Alexander, 34 tackles during the regular season.
2nd and 8, Saskatchewan. Deland will put it up. Looking deep down the sideline. No catch. The Hawks were all over David Stevens as he closed in on the football. He was there for a split second.
He had him, Jamie.
He had him, and you know what? I think David Stevens, you got to come up with this catch. I know this is a heck of a hit, but Belan's got all sorts of room here, all sorts of time sitting back here. Do a good job on the pass rush. Then he launches one here. Now, he just kind of lifted his head up a little bit because he saw the defender coming.
Yeah, and Ian Logan got over there in a hurry, number 16. He's going to throw it in there. They're all Canadian in the defensive backfield, and Ian Logan may have distracted him.
Belan is 0 for 5. Beckler moves up on a third down punt. Stopped after a gain of about 3 on the return. And that's where the Golden Hawks will begin, just inside the 40, only a 27-yard punt. Just 1 point on the board, 1:57 to go in the opening quarter. Let's go down to Claude Fay.
Thanks very much, John. Well, you know, when you look at both of these teams, certainly not much to choose from record-wise. Of course, both 11-0, although both took different paths to get here. The Huskies very much expected to contend for a Vanier Cup. The Laurier Golden Hawks were not, but the numbers don't lie, as we'll show you. They were, of course, 8-0 in the regular season, 11-0 overall. Pretty good record through the playoffs, though, to earn their way to the Vanier Cup. Now, as a footnote, both teams have been having some problems with their microphone system, with their headset systems. They seem to be trying to get it under control, but right now they're only on one headset on each side. Now let's get over to the Huskies sideline and Ray Morrison, and hopefully he can hear me as I throw it to him.
Absolutely. Actually, Claude, it's been a very interesting situation for the Huskies going against the wind. They haven't been able to establish anything. Now we'll see if they go to the aerial attack a little bit with the wind. Prior to the game, Brian Towers told me, watch for the inside receivers. David Stevens gets a lot of play, but McHenry and Sheeman may see some balls through the air with the wind, guys.
Boy, you know, that one win against Laval, a big one for the Huskies to get here. Of course, Laval beating University of Saskatchewan 7-1 in last year's Vanier.
Yeah, and you think of the last teams that each of these two teams lost to was Laval.
The only common opponent, the Rouge AR. First down, Laurier. And Cameron makes a nice move to get outside around the right side. Better than halfway to a first down. He's got 7.
But again, guys, you know, Laurier has opportunities here. They've had some opportunities with field position in this first quarter that they have not capitalized on the scoreboard.
And, you know, with only a minute 20 now left in the first quarter, I'm surprised that Laurier hasn't kind of gone into a hurry-up offense to try and take advantage of that win. So if they had to attempt a field goal, at least it's at his back.
Gary Jeffries, head coach at Laurier in his first Vanier Cup. On second down, nowhere to run. He couldn't turn the corner. That's Andy Beckler.
Gabe McAsee was there. Boy, did he flow to that nice.
And you think of how important it was to get those guys back, Morley Miller and Gabe McAsee, and this is why they felt so important to get him back. He forces us back outside, and then he tracks him down. And I tell you, Andy Beckler's got some really good speed. Gabe McAsee suffered a concussion, I believe, back in October the 15th, and had to sit out for a good month and a half. But he's glad to be back playing in this one.
On third down, it'll be a 45-yard field goal try for Brian Devlin. He missed his first from 30, 0 for 1 on the afternoon. With the wind, whistled down before the kick.
Time count violation. So now they're going to have to punt it away.
Squandered opportunities for the Golden Hawks, if that is in fact the case.
Now, I would think right now, if you're Saskatchewan, you got to feel pretty good about yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, thinking you've dodged about 4 or 5 bullets here, and you're only down 1-0, and you're going to get the win in the second quarter.
No, absolutely.
We have a time count violation, charge to Laurier, 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
You know, and now Jeffries, Coach Jeffries tries to coffin corner kick this to, even if they change quarters, to keep Saskatchewan pinned deep. But absolutely, Jamie, I agree. The Huskies right now have to feel like this is a win for them to be able to survive the first quarter with the wind at their face and the opportunities they've given Laurier and only be down by 1.
Well, you think of it, they started 4 drives within the Saskatchewan end, and he came up with 1 point.
Devlin tries to angle it out. Leighton Heron has it. And 4 Golden Hawks surround him.
Great kick.
Near the Saskatchewan 5. Into the final seconds of the opening quarter in Hamilton. On first down out to the 10-yard line, David Stevens.
Number 29, David Stevens.
And that's the final play of the opening quarter. David Stevens hasn't been able to break loose yet. The Laurier Golden Hawks will wonder about squandered opportunities in the opening 15 minutes. Set to begin the second quarter at the 41st Vanier Cup, and we'll look back at the numbers from the opening 15.
And you know, John, you take a look at these two stats right here. 0 and 0. First downs, no yards passing. If you tell somebody coming in here that Steve Ballin, the All-Canadian quarterback from a year ago, will not have any passing yards in the first quarter, you'd say you're wrong. But that's what the case is right now. But given those stats anyway, Saskatchewan is lucky only to be down 1-0.
Ballin 0 for 5. And the running game, Glenn, didn't work effectively for the Huskies either.
Well, full credit to the Golden Hawks defense right now. Small and quick has got the advantage on big and strong at this point.
Huskies have the win to begin the second quarter out at the 10-yard line. This may change the complexion of things for Saskatchewan. Stevens.
Oh, what a move.
His run. This guy has 4.4 speed.
It's amazing how much the wind helps the running game, isn't it?
Well, and it gives your offense confidence in a hurry, and all of a sudden David Stevens breaks out. What a move in the open field.
And it's a really nice job. It's counter. They bring backside guard and tackle, and they pull him out to the right, and David Stevens reads it. Start one way, coming back. And we were talking about that earlier. You've got to make Laurier flow hard one way and then come back. And, boy, you see the kind of athletic ability that David Stevens has.
21-yard gain sets the Huskies up at the Saskatchewan 31. Stevens again.
1,229 yards for David Stevens in the regular season.
And really a remarkable story when you think of him coming back off of 2 major knee reconstructions and coming back and playing this year and having the kind of year he was, the nominee for the Heck Crichton Trophy from Canada West.
Played just 5 games over the last 2 years, David Stevens, and his rookie season, everybody thought he was going to be absolutely sensational, which he was, but not through his whole career. This year he's back, and he's an All-Canadian in his final season in CIS football. Ballin, wide open target, and he'll go all the way down inside the 10. Jeff Sheeman got in behind everybody, and Ballin put it right on the money.
Now it starts to show you when you have a running back like David Stevens and you run play action pass here, the effect that it does have. And if you want to know how strong Steve Ballin's arm is, watch how far this one here is in the air. He just puts this up nice and high. Jeff Sheeman, that's a good 55 yards down the field. Outruns Joel Wright, but Joel Wright saves the touchdown.
One good run from David Stevens, pulls the linebackers and freezes the secondary, and Sheeman gets in behind coverage because of it.
A 68-yard gain, and the Huskies are in the green zone looking to score for the first time this afternoon. From the 7, first and goal. Another completion, 2 for 2 in the second quarter for Ballin. David Stevens makes the catch there.
Stevens bounces out of the backfield in a hurry, and they get the matchup that I would think Jamie Saskatchewan likes. Jesse Alexander is forced to cover Stevens too much.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't want him. They'd rather have outside linebacker Yannick Carter or Gavin Kahn cover him, but not the big inside guy, Jesse Alexander.
Second and goal to go. Huskies are at the Laurier 1. Stevens gets the call. He has the touchdown.
Just like that.
2 plays, 21 yards to Stevens, 68 yards to Sheeman, and that opened up the whole ball game.
Taking advantage on the scoreboard with the wind at your back. The Golden Hawks couldn't do it in the first quarter. Saskatchewan does it quickly in the second.
Well, this is when those 300-pound offensive linemen really come into play.
First touchdown is on the board, and the Huskies respond with a very quick and impressive drive. From Ivor Wynne and Hamilton, the 2005 Desjardins Vanier Cup. Welcome back to Ivor Wynne and Hamilton. Second quarter nicely underway, and the Huskies have arrived. A very sluggish first quarter for Saskatchewan, but 3 big plays on the opening drive of the second quarter, and the Huskies have the lead at 7-1. Ian Logan on the return for Laurier, has some room to the far side. Across the 35, he's got the 38. And Mike Scheibel led the tacklers there. Scheibel, another one of the Huskies, playing his final game of university football.
David Stevens got things going and finished it when he got down to the goal line and powers it through off the left side of that offensive line. It was the big run to start the drive that influenced the defense. Sheeman gets in behind coverage. Stevens now has 51.
On the 27-yard return for Logan, a first down for Laurier at the 40. Byron Hickey does not carry the ball often, but he had a pretty good week in the UTEC Bowl against Acadia 2 weeks ago with 3 receptions for 3 touchdowns.
And really, in Laurier's offense, he's used more as a receiver than he is as a running back. Nick Cameron, of course, carrying the bulk of that load. They went to school just down the road here at Notre Dame in Burlington.
7 yards for Cameron. 2nd and 3 for Laurier. Pierre will put it up. Into heavy coverage, he'll get the first down on a connection with Andrew Agro.
And for Pierre, that seems like a short curl rope to throw, but against this wind and in that zone defense, he threads the needle and puts it right where he has to.
And, you know, he's not really a typical drop-back style passer. Their passing game is primarily 2 or 3-step drop, 5-step drop maybe. Quick decisions.
First down, Laurier. Pierre, play action, open target at the 30. Agro again, back-to-back for number 3. Pierre looked rather cool right there again.
Play action this time. Ryan Pierre goes to play action, and Agro on the post going over the middle. The linebacker's so far up in the line of scrimmage for the Huskies, there's room in behind them for Agro.
A 21-yard gain. Laurier at the Saskatchewan 30. Cameron got away from 1, but still didn't find very much yardage after that.
Well, you look at how these offenses, both of them now started to explode in the second. It's almost like 2 fighters in the ring in the first couple of rounds feeling each other out. And now after the first touchdown score, they both are really opening up their offense.
Stefan Matasic, the offensive coordinator for Laurier, and he and Coach Jeffries, who I talked to prior to the game, telling me that adjustments on the fly will be key today.
2nd and long. Flag's down, and so is Ryan Pierre.
See what the flag is, but Jamie, he was mentioning, Gary Jeffries mentioning to me that, you know, obviously adjustments are always important in every football game, but more important in this one because the fact that these 2 teams have not seen each other, played each other ever. And he said, you know, CIS rules are that you only get 3 game films.
Right.
So you watch 3 game films, you don't have a whole lot of knowledge on the opponent.
And there's Eddie Carlton, the defensive coordinator for Saskatchewan.
Offside, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
You know, Eddie played in the '89 Vanier Cup, the first one that Saskatchewan was in as a linebacker. Took over from Jerry Friesen when Jerry Friesen got the head coaching job at the University of Alberta. But, you know, his whole philosophy in playing defense is we don't want to do a lot of fancy things. We want to do a few things really well.
Here on second down. Looks to the end zone. Beckler, touchdown. Andy Beckler. That was an impressive drive as well.
Against the win.
Was it ever? Against the win after giving up a touchdown. That is huge for Wilfrid Laurier.
And it really shows you why Ryan Pierre is the All-Canadian quarterback this year. This is a really nice job by him. He gets back here, he looks people off. And then he comes back into one of his favorite receivers, Andy Beckler. Back inside, nicely throw him right over the linebacker, and then Beckler stretches it out and gets in.
Beckler, the leading receiver for Laurier on the season. 588 yards, 5 touchdowns. And that completes a 70-yard drive, 6 plays. And Pierre was 4 for 4 to get Laurier back on top. Andy Beckler with a couple of catches, the big one for the touchdown.
And he gets caught up here with Jared Nordick's trying to take him one-on-one and jam him, but he has a nice escape move, and now he just outruns him into the end zone.
14 for 206 in the playoffs coming into the Vanier Cup for Beckler. And a big catch there.
An error for Saskatchewan there as Carl couldn't handle it and had it trickle out of bounds, so the Huskies will begin near the 15-yard line. No return at all. In fact, a loss of a couple.
Well, gentlemen, we've already had way more points scored than last year's Vanier Cup.
It's a victory.
Which ended 7-1 Laval, of course. But obviously a healthy Steve Boland has got things going, as has Ryan Pierre.
That was huge for Laurier to come back after the Huskies took the win and then went for the touchdown in the opening sequence of the second quarter. So the Huskies look to respond now, beginning at the 16. Boland has a target and a first down at the 30-yard line. That's Scott McHenry, who's an outstanding rookie out of Saskatoon. McHenry had 5 catches for 78 yards in the win over Laval 2 weeks ago.
I had a chance to talk to him this week, and I tell you, he is going to be one of the great receivers in the CIS, this kid. Number 70, Henry runs down. And, you know, Steve Boland at the end of the season really started to feel comfortable with him. He's a rookie, and you think sometimes it's hard to get the quarterback's attention, but he's a big target. You know, 6'2", 200 pounds, first year out of Holy Cross Secondary School in Saskatoon.
And the Rookie of the Year in Canada West. On first down, the ball came loose. Sounded like the whistle had gone.
Yeah, it did.
Stevens put it on the turf on the opening sequence and lost it again there, but I think the Huskies will retain the football.
Football gets cold, it also gets slick, and both teams had a couple of close calls and a couple of turnovers.
I think his knees were down anyway, but it was a very quick whistle.
Fine crowd on hand at Ivor Wynne Stadium with Laurier just down the road. The busload started piling into Hamilton early this afternoon. Boland looks at second in a bunch and should have the first down. It's McHenry again.
Guys, you mentioned Scott McHenry, and Jamie mentioned that that Boland has become more confident with him, and the numbers would also back that up. I mean, 17 catches for 404 yards in the regular season, and he's had at least that many in the 3 games leading into this Vanier Cup, and a couple already in the game here today. So obviously his quarterback has got some confidence in that slot back.
Gain of 11 and another Huskies first down. Heron held on. Leighton Heron was hit immediately.
And if you want to stand two guys that are the exact opposite, stand Leighton Heron beside Scott McHenry. You know, Henry's 6'2", 200. Heron's 5'8", 165. And, you know, he has such self-deprecating humor. He says, look, he says, I'm bow-legged, I'm small, I only have 9.5 fingers, but I can still play this game. Quite a story. Out of Moose Jaw Central.
Couple of touchdowns in the playoffs for Leighton Heron. 854 yards receiving in 2005. This is 2nd and 5, Huskies. Dan Houle, not used frequently as a receiver for Saskatchewan.
And even less as a running back. He's primarily more back there as a blocking back, but not in this play. Lines up as the fullback, comes out into the flat. Steve Ballin operating nice offense here right now, just taking what the defense gives. And then he does a nice move here, just jumps right over Joel Wright to get another first down.
Huskies have a nice drive going. Ballin began 0 for 5, 6 for 6 in his last sequence of passes, including the ones to set up the touchdown. David Stevens has not had an easy afternoon running against this undersized Laurier defense. The one big run.
Clearly, John, the Laurier defense is geared up, at least on first down, to key to David Stevens, and why wouldn't they with the great season that he had? But they have done a nice job against the run. Jesse Alexander in the middle of that defense, flowing to the football well. What Saskatchewan can do now with that is go to more play action.
Second and 8, Huskies. Not this time. David Montoya led the Laurier Golden Hawks to the first sack of the afternoon. Well timed too, I might add.
Well, I think he pretty well knew that it's second down and long. It's not going to be play action pass. They've been doing a pretty good job in controlling David Stevens in the ground. He wasn't even playing run at all.
There he is right there.
He's in a rush stance. He's coming real hard, and he just makes a great move to come inside and get Steve Ballin and bring him down. And bringing down Steve Ballin is no easy task. His bench is about 400 pounds.
Not a great kick for Sukan. Hawks looking for a penalty flag, and it comes down a little bit late on the no yards call. Joel Wright has it at the 20-yard line. It's only a 28-yard punt. A battle of the unbeaten. Something has to give this afternoon, but the second quarter has been a lot more fun than the first, with a couple of interesting drives.
Yeah, and both quarterbacks, I think, Jamie, are really starting to take control of the football game. Last year's outstanding Canadian and Ballin, and this year's in Pierre.
Well, I think when you take a look at it, that, you know, in the first part of the game when David Stevens couldn't complete a pass, or excuse me, when Steve Ballin couldn't complete a pass, and now he's almost perfect as we take a look at Ryan Pierre dish it off out of the backfield to Dante Luciani. So it seems like both quarterbacks have really settled down and are starting to play much better.
And the way these defenses have done, played against the run, they're going to have to. Both certainly capable.
Now, when you look back a year ago, it was Steve Ballin was the All-Canadian quarterback. The second-team All-Canadian was Ryan Pierre. And that was almost reversed this year, but Steve Ballin was not recognized as a second-team All-Canadian this year. He was All-Conference in Canada West. But nonetheless, his numbers were just as good as they were a year ago, and he's just as effective.
Luciani has 17 yards, and it's a first down, a reverse. Coming around the near side, fumbled out of bounds by Byron Hickey out of Burlington. One of a dozen Golden Hawks playing the final game of his university career.
Well, Laurier have all sorts of tricks up their sleeve. They go right to the right side, and then they run the end around with Brian Hickey. Fumbled it out of bounds to no event. Down the road here at Notre Dame High School.
Hickey picked up 8, 2nd and 2, Golden Hawks. second effort, and Cameron should have the first down. Nick Cameron out of Waterloo should get a peek by some CFL teams on what he's been able to accomplish in his 5-year career at Laurier.
Yeah, he's built like a tank. He's 5'11", 205, out of Fenland Falls, Ontario. Just north of Peterborough area.
There's his year-by-year production, 1,000 yards this season. Set the record against McMaster this year for Laurier, over 200 yards rushing, 263 in that game.
Just around the corner from Port Perry, Fenland Falls.
There you go.
Is the lake frozen over there?
No, not yet.
Not quite, huh? A couple more days like today and it will be.
First down, Laurier. Another carry for Cameron. Tough slugging right up the middle as Nick Cameron comes up with a first down for the Golden Hawks.
Hey, John, anytime you can run the ball in between Marco Melchiori and Ryan Gottslig, you're doing something really special in here. You're trying to run the inside trap with Mitch Zapatelli, number 57, making some room for him. And then bang, he gets right in through there. And then once he's into the group of linebackers, he just keeps his feet moving and getting forward.
Dylan Barker has to make the tackle from the safety position, number 20 for the Huskies.
Cameron actually comes up about a half a yard shy. So the Golden Hawks look at second down with 3:50 to go till halftime. Action fake by Pierre. He'll take off himself. Not noted as a runner. But it's effectively done that time as he gets down to the 35 with a 13-yard pickup.
They had the great call on there because Sask had a linebacker blitz coming right up into that B gap. And they try to fake it inside. See number 56 right there. Jason Corl's coming up here. And then they fake it inside. And then they bootleg Pierre around to the right side of your screen. Now, he didn't see anybody open. The linebacker starts to drop off, and he decides he's going to take it himself. And that's the added dimension that Ryan Pierre brings to this football team, his ability also to take off and run with the football.
Laurier first down. Cameron again, left side this time, better than halfway.
See the little things, John, that Ryan Pierre does well, and that right there was an example of it. That's just a normal running play to Nick Cameron, but Pierre takes that fake and goes all the way outside just to tell the defense that be careful. If you let me go out here, yeah, I don't have the ball this time. I may have it the next time. We saw that when he took the corner and caught Saskatchewan in that blitz. He does the little things well. And they end up adding up into big things.
Yeah, so many times quarterbacks always want to be spectators after they hand the ball off and watch the play, and you're right about that. And that shows his experience here, and he's well coached.
The All-Canadian quarterback Ryan Pierre having a nice second quarter. Laurier on a nice drive here. 2nd and 4. Pierre stands in. Takes off for the second time and gets hit by one of those huge defensive linemen, most notably Ryan Gottslig.
Gabe McAsee, the linebacker for the Huskies, did a great job of jamming the primary target here, which was Andy Beckler. Beckler is right here. He's going to try and get down the field and get to the corner. And watch how 44 will step out on him and right here make contact. There, now that takes him off the route. Now Pierre now looks down and has to take off it. He can't get to his open man.
And he had to take on Gottslig. Number 65 for the Huskies, a Rough Rider draft pick from last season. 3rd down, less than a yard to go as the Hawks go gambling here. Looked like early movement, no flags. And Pierre is smothered.
Wow, did it ever look like early movement, John? I mean, either the defense jumped or the offense moved first or whatever, but it certainly looked like there was movement before the snap.
Now, there's nothing wrong if Gottsli's kind of moving down inside, and it looks at the very top of your screen. Right there, he starts to move down, but it's whether they were offside. It doesn't look like they were offside at all. Gaber tries to get in there and actually flushes him out, and then Gabe Mackesy makes the tackle.
Yeah, good point. It looked like they were moving laterally, not into that neutral zone.
Big defensive stand for the Huskies and Eddie Carlton. The defensive coordinator feeling pretty good about it right now.
So on the turnover, Saskatchewan beginning out across the 25. David Stevens.
Yannick Carter had great penetration from the linebacking core on that play to turn Stevens inside and get this. Carter allowed his pursuit to get there basically. He uses his speed to get upfield. Stevens has no chance but to turn inside to pressure and where everybody is.
And, you know, you look at Laurier's linebackers, we talked about them, they're not big. I mean, Gavin Collins, 5'11", 200. Yannick Carter's only 190 pounds.
Second and 8, Saskatchewan. The opportunity was there. Jesse Alexander had a couple of cracks at it. They say this guy should have a shot at making the Canadian Football League in time.
Well, you were talking earlier about you like that matchup, trying to get David Stevens on Jesse Alexander. Well, looked like Steve Ballon liked that matchup as well. But when he threw it out there, it kind of hung there a little bit, and Jesse Alexander almost came up with a great interception here. Stepped in front, knocked it up, and then made the diving try.
What a break on the football from Alexander. I mean, this is a middle linebacker. This is a run stopper at 230 pounds, and he plays that football like he was a defensive back.
Yeah, and he's going against a running back with 4.4 speed. Beckler needs a block to get outside, doesn't get it. Dropped at the 40. Dylan Barker leading the tacklers there. Laurier in Saskatchewan, a battle of the unbeaten in the 2005 Vanier Cup. It's been 10 years since an Ontario University team has made it to the Vanier Cup, being played in this neck of the woods, Southern Ontario, and it's great to see a crowd on hand from down the way in Waterloo supporting the Laurier Golden Hawks here today. 1:32 to go till halftime. And first down, Laurier stops short as Beckler gets the call again out of the backfield. Beckler usually lining up as a slot back, but he does it all. Returns, runs, and catches.
Well, that's why I think this offense is so hard to defend against. Now, granted, Ed Carlton said it was nice that they had the 2 weeks in between so they could try to prepare for it. But they really throw a lot of misdirection at you. There's all sorts of different people handle the football. And it's just not kind of an offense that he's used to seeing out west.
Halftime adjustments, again, crucial.
Second and 2, Laurier. First down easily. Yards to spare to the 45. Nick Cameron. Dylan Barker got over to force him out. Barker, a rookie. Cameron in his final game of CIS football.
Now run on that counter, pull him backside guard and tackle. Come around, get the shoulder square, gets a good block on Ryan Gottslig, and then cuts it up inside, changes the ball to the outside hand, and then gets the old stiff arm on here on Dylan Barker, but he forces him out of bounds, but not before a big gain.
Big blocks by Eric Sallow and Andrew Dietrich.
21 yards is the gain, less than a minute to go. Till halftime, Laurier going against the wind. Play action again. Pierre, open top.
Oh, baby.
What a huge hit. Hard to hang on.
He has been a presence.
I think that was the case right there, Glenn, where I'm sure Beck was going back saying, you know, throw that one just a little bit harder to me. He hung it up there just a little bit too long for him and allowed Dylan Barker to get that beeline on him.
Harder or sooner?
Yes.
Dylan Barker, big play over the middle.
Barker on Becker. Here, a little low on the toss. Sliding out.
Again, Jamie, you're a quarterback there. You talk about timing. That's it. That's the ball that if Pierre gets out there a little bit quicker into the flat, maybe his running back has a chance to turn the corner and make something out of it.
Absolutely. I mean, that read is almost instantaneous. If he comes free right away, you get it to him and allow him to get those yards after the catch. Because you're right, he would have had the first down. I don't know if he would have caught it there because he came a little bit late and people started to jump up on it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Beckler's got to come up with those catches.
Brian Devlin standing near midfield. Leighton Heron drops down to the Saskatchewan 2. Not deep. A one-hopper. And Heron stopped after a return of a couple.
Guys, we were talking about early on how the Huskies, after surviving the first quarter, had to feel pretty good about the first quarter. I think right now Laurier has to feel pretty good about this first half. I mean, the Huskies heavily favored coming into this game, and some would say they should be with their perfect record and their size difference.
And it's also who they went through to get here.
That's
beating
right.
Laval, the defending national champions, and you think you got to knock the big guy off first before you get into this game. And yet Laurier will take tremendous confidence that they can hold on here with 38 seconds left going into halftime, saying, you know what, we've kept it close. That benefits us, I think.
Yeah.
The crowd's on our side.
Concerns for Brian Towers, I would think.
38 seconds till halftime. Belan drops back. Finds Stevens.
What a block.
And Stevens turns it into a first down with a couple to spare.
There's some kind of block out there in front of there. I think it was Biden's coming out, number 55. The screen is set up well. And watch 55 lead that block. That's called a pancake.
No one home at the 30-yard line. Heron was the closest receiver. And 20 seconds till halftime now. I guess the other thing Laurier is overcoming is the experience factor in the Vanier, with so many of these Huskies having been here before, including most of this team last year.
Right, you know, and Gary Jeffries said that last year when they lost to Laval in the Mitchell Bowl, that, you know, he looked at that tape afterwards and said, you know, Laval were faster than we were, they were stronger than we were, so we knew we had to take care of some things in the offseason, and our kids got after it right away. We took a month off, and then they're right back in there making it happen. Laval
winning the Vanier the last 2 years has helped both these programs get better for this year.
No question, because they set the standard, right?
Yep. But Gary Jeffries got to feel pretty good about this first half. His team would be more confident, should be coming out of the second half, and I would think some concerns for Brian Towers, although in the second quarter he has moved the football. Just again, other than the first drive of the second quarter, not coming away with points. There's a guy with 8 appearances in the Vanier Cup, and 3 of the last 4 years his football team has been in the big game, so certainly he can draw upon that experience.
Looking ahead to halftime, we'll recap what has happened so far with Chris Schultz and Greg Marshall joining Dave Randorf on the Vanier Cup panel.
Coach Marshall got himself a quarterback.
He did.
Jason Moss. The deal is done. The Hamilton Tiger Cats and their fans.
And there's a huge surprise.
The worst kept secret.
Stevens has a nice hole open up with 16 seconds to go till halftime. You know, as Jason Moss moves into this stadium, Ivor Wynne in Hamilton, it's an interesting time to at least remember the greatness of Danny McManus in this ballpark for the 8 seasons that he had. I mean, not only a Grey Cup winning quarterback, but Danny McManus was a friend to everybody in Hamilton, and to so many of us who watched him. So he's not finished yet, but
No.
he's not playing for the Tiger Cats any longer.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to imply that Danny McManus, that they have a quarterback that Danny McManus wasn't one. I mean, he led this team to a championship, but this is the guy for the future. I mean, Jason Moss is now in his prime, and he's going to have 5-6 years here that they can really establish something and build around him.
I think this is a good call by Laurier here. They took the timeout because they're going to force him to kick into the wind. Hopefully they can get it with one play, get it in with about 20 yards, and allow Devlin to try to attempt a field goal to put some more points on the board before the half.
Backler is deep, number 88, standing near the Laurier 45.
Think Laurier are coming after it?
They got 11 on the line of scrimmage.
Soucan for Saskatchewan at the 15. Here they come. Gets a nice kick away. Backler steps out near the 50 with 7 seconds to go.
Maybe one throw, you might get field goal range, although you are into the wind here.
I saw him earlier before it looks like the wind's died down a little bit now, but before the game, he was kicking them from about 38 to 40 yards here into the wind pregame. So he does have a strong leg.
Missed his first from 30 yards. Speaking of Devlin.
But the other thing about Pierre as well is that he's not the same type of thrower as a Belan. He can't throw the ball 60 yards, and that's not his style. He's more of a passer as opposed to a thrower.
7 seconds on the clock, and they'll tick off the final few seconds.
You know, not a bad strategy, though. I mean, you force one in there, and maybe it's turned over, and all of a sudden the Huskies, if you're Gary Jeffries, grabs some momentum at halftime, because, again, the Golden Hawks have to be happy with this first half of play against the team that was favored coming in.
And that'll do it for this perfect pairing, at least at halftime. The Desjardins Vanier Cup, first ever meeting for the Huskies and the Hawks. And only 1 point separates Wilfrid Laurier and Saskatchewan. Dave? 8-7, Wilfrid Laurier leading Saskatchewan at the half. And let's go down to Ray Morrison.
Brian Towers, you had the big play to Jeff Sheeman early in the second quarter. Once you were able to work with that wind, got to be a comfort going to the second half. You'll have it again in the fourth.
Well, yeah, we got it on the fourth, but we got to do a better job on both sides of the ball. We've been close at times. We did manage to drive it twice, but we got to settle in, get more yardage on first down. If we don't get some on first down, then we're in a bit of trouble. But we've made some adjustments. Hopefully it'll be all right.
Yeah, are they doing anything that's surprising you here, Brian?
Not really. No, they're quicker than maybe than we had thought, but they've hung with that 3-man line on first down, done a nice job of taking away the run. We've got to come up with something else to beat it.
Okay, BT, thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Great enthusiasm on both sides of the football for both teams. And for a couple of dozen players, this will be the final game they get to play in CIS football.
And I thought Brian had an interesting comment there about how he underestimated Laurier's quickness, and that's one sin you never do, is ever underestimate an opponent.
We'll see what the adjustments that he makes are in the second half.
No question they knew about the quickness, just didn't gauge it properly. Second half is underway. Good beginning for Laurier. On the return is Ryan Lynch. Comes up with instant field position for the Golden Hawks. A 29-yard return. Ryan Pierre got on 8 of 13 for 109 yards and 1 touchdown. Here's the return.
Lynch gets to the outside. He has to break 2 tackles at the point of attack, and once he does that, now he gets to that wall.
See there how sorry, Glenn. See how he switched the ball there? He almost had it taken away from him, and then he decided, I better put it in the outside hand.
29 yards gets Laurier almost to midfield with a first down here to get the second half underway. Not much changes. Cameron gets the call.
Well, Chad Gittinger for the Huskies saves a big gain there. I mean, that had 30 yards written all over it for Nick Cameron. Gettinger just got his hand out there and tripped him up.
Cameron's final game, he averaged 6.9 yards a carry this season. Here stands in, and he had Luciani. He couldn't hang on.
Well, you can see one of the adjustments they've already made on defense is Gabe McAsee is no longer in the football game. You mentioned Chad Gettinger. He's taken his spot.
McAsee coming off injury for the Huskies and missed last week's game versus Laval. So,
and you know, he suffered from a concussion, and you know, there's been a lot of talk in sport these days about it and how hard it is to come back from that. And the last thing you want to do is get somebody injured permanently.
Now Gettinger did play against Laval.
He did, yes.
So,
yeah, very well.
It was McAsee's job most of the season. This is not pretty. Short kick with the wind for Brian Devlin. And the Huskies come back with a first down when we return. Saskatchewan with a first down just across the 30-yard line. Stopped in his tracks. David Stevens wrapped up by Yannick Carter. One big run for Stevens in the first half, but he took a few hits along the way, guys.
First series of the game, put the ball on the ground. That was the first turnover of the game. Laurier had a single point out of that turnover, but it has been tough running.
And then he had the big run here, his longest of the afternoon. And then he took it in from 1 yard out to give Saskatchewan 7 points.
Only a yard picked up by the Huskies. 2nd and 9. Belen looking to throw.
But Jamie, you mentioned to me at halftime that with David Stevens type of player, he's the kind of guy that can, you know, chip away, maybe get 5, 6 here, 4 there, not look like he's having a great night, and then bam, he hits a couple of 60-yarders.
Well, I think a lot of coaches will tell you from the offensive side of the ball that you usually get maybe 2 or 3 instances in a game where a guy can take it all the way. And that's the kind of player that he is. I mean, he'll bang in there hard, 4, 5, 6, and then his history has been that he busts a big one for 60 yards or 50 yards. And he did it in the Hardy Cup playoff game against Alberta, game which he had 197 yards rushing. And they'll just keep pulling the plug on him because he's a good football player.
Joel Wright on the return gets just into Husky territory after a 27-yard punt. And so are the teams, the Huskies and the Hawks. Cameron, shifty run, right side. Nick Cameron in a showdown with David Stevens, 2 outstanding running backs.
And he showed a little bit of great footwork here when he came around the corner. Watch this move right here with his feet. He just avoids a tackle right there. Nice little hop. Keeps his feet down on the ground and picks up a first down.
Cameron, a second-team All-Canadian in 2005, and David Stevens was a first-team All-Canadian at running back. Here's Pierre. Far side, they call it a catch. Mike Maurice gets involved for the first time. Nice pattern, nice reception, huge first down.
The real key to this is the offensive line and how good a job they do to not allow any penetration at all on Ryan Pierre. Allows him to get rolling left. He's a right-handed quarterback. Gets his shoulders turned. And Mike Maurice does a nice job here, just keeping 1 foot in bounds, securing the ball, and getting out for the first down.
Gary Jeffries was concerned with the size mismatch, and there his O-line is playing well right now.
17-yard gain. And playing well against that Saskatchewan defensive front to give Nick Cameron running room as well.
Well, that was a concern. He felt in the trenches, he was a little undersized, but that offensive line right now is doing a nice job of protecting Pierre in the passing game, but giving Nick Cameron a little bit of room to run.
But you also have to wonder, too, defensively. Granted, I know that Brian Tower's saying Marco Melchiori coming back and Morley Miller. We talked about Gabe McAsee and even Rieger coming back. Guys haven't played a lot for 3 or 4 weeks, and then do they come back? Are they really 100% right now, or are they not? You know, or are you better off with going with the people that got you here?
Here on second down, just got it away. Agro had it and couldn't squeeze it. Nice play by Ryan Peer just to get the ball away.
Well, and Rick Van Denemeel came all the way across with him in coverage for the Huskies. But you're right, it was starting to collapse on him, John, as Peer got to the outside. And there's the good hustle from Van Denemeel, and he just gets his hand in there and distracts Agro.
The defender played it perfectly, or it was gone for 6.
Brian Devlin on to attempt a 27-yard field goal.
Devlin missed from 30 in the early going. This from 27. And a miscue costs Laurier with no penalty flags down anywhere. So special teams problems help the Hawks.
I think the center here went to snap the ball and it didn't get off the ground.
Opportunities have been squandered in the first quarter and here early in the third, too.
Byron Hickey is standing right in behind here, and I think he wants to shift to the outside. Now, does he get there in time? He shifts, and then he's standing right in the way of the snap. Then he picks it out. Now it's just trying to make something happen out of nothing. But Byron Hickey had lined up and was going to shift to his left, and that ball hit him in the knee.
No points, and the Huskies get a break. Laurier responds, though, with a solid hit on David Stevens on first down Saskatchewan.
Hey, if things don't go Laurier's game in this way, they are going to look back at all the scoring opportunities they had in the first quarter and now this one and look back and really kick themselves.
Well, you've heard it many times, and it doesn't matter the level, that when you don't take advantage of your opportunities against a good team, it'll come back and bite you somewhere.
Second and 10, Saskatchewan. Inside the 25, Belen has time and a target. Stopped short of the first down. Solid defensive play on the reception made by Sidoric.
But you go back to what Brian Tara said at halftime. Unless they start to get some success on first down, this offense will continue to struggle, because that now plays into the Golden Hawks' strength, which is their speed in the passing game. Linebackers that can fly to the ball and make tackles like that in the open field. Brian Towers talked about it. Success on first down. They didn't have it in the first half. They haven't had it in the second half yet.
Soucan's punt coming down at the 45. It's Joel Wright. Took a hit at the 50. And again, Laurier closing in on decent field position on the return after a 36-yard punt. It's all on the line in Hamilton, a battle of the unbeaten today. Izzy's anger at the philandering Alex gets the best of her. Don't miss a new episode of Grey's Anatomy. Tomorrow at 10, 9 Central on CTV. First down, Laurier at the Hawks 50. Byron Hickey on a nice counter play that worked effectively. He's close to a first down.
You know, Glenn, you and I were talking during the break, and we were talking about how Saskatchewan doesn't do any of this kind of stuff, where there is no counter direction or misdirection plays. Laurier uses it really to their advantage, and this is hit extremely hard. Hickey lines up as the slot back and then comes across, inside handoff, and boy, he gets right up into that gap between the center and the guard. He gets close to a first down.
All kinds of motion on every play for the Golden Hawks offense.
Here it is again. To the far side on 2nd and 1. And no surprise that Cameron gets the call. Nick Cameron has 5 and a first down.
Here's what motion does to a defense. What happens is it'll simplify things on defense for Ryan Peer, because basically if defenses start to get confused with motion, they can't play man-to-man anymore. So now they want to drop and just play zone defense and play more vanilla type of defense. That plays into the offense's hands. If you can use motion effectively, you can really stymie what a defense can do.
First down, Laurier. 8:21 to go, third quarter. Beckler turns the corner. Again, what you were talking about.
Well, and they're attacking, Jamie, different areas. I mean, they go outside to the right, then they hit the outside, they go with that counter into the middle, and then now to Beckler back to the outside left of the formation.
That's exactly right. They're doing all sorts of stuff up front with the offensive line. I mean, they're pulling guys from the backside, they're running trap inside, and then Beckler just gets away from Brian Giebert and turns it upfield close to another first down. What's happening now, Laurier is getting into second short all the time.
Yeah.
That's really putting tremendous pressure on that Sask defense.
Laurier, 144 yards rushing so far. Play action this time. Pierre has the target down to the 10-yard line, and it's Byron Hickey. What a game he had against Acadia 2 weeks ago. Only 3 catches, but all went for touchdowns.
Now, Laurier have Saskatchewan right back on their heels now. They don't know if it's run, pass, play action. And Brian Hickey wide open.
Well, it's a good job play calling from the Golden Hawks because they send one down the seam and Byron Hickey across the middle. That freezes Dylan Barker, the safety. He has to stay deep as the deepest, which was the seam run.
From the 10, first down, Laurier. Cameron picks his way down to the 5. And the Hawks have to come away with points this time. They have been close too many times and come away with just 8 so far.
Well, they're starting to win that battle up front here right now, which I kind of find surprising. You know, Laurier obviously had not good offensive line, but you've got all Canadians there on the defensive side of the ball, and Ryan Gottslig, and they're running the ball right at him.
One guy that I've seen a bunch has been Eric Sallow, who's number 63 in there at the guard position. He's blowing it up in there.
Second and goal to go. Hawks at the Huskies 5. This should go for 6. It does. Nick Cameron makes the catch and has 6.
And Glenn, it goes back to what you were talking about earlier. A team like Saskatchewan, not used to playing a lot of man coverage. When you have all that motion going on, you empty out the backfield, somebody doesn't take care of Nick Cameron, and he's wide open.
Well, it's just in man-to-man, it's the counting. And you've got to pick up your man. Who's got 32 out of the backfield? Confusion as the secondary tries to find the guy to get outside. In this case, Van Denemeel gets there late, but way too late. And again, another block by Eric Sallow on the backside of that offensive line to allow Pierce some time to throw the football.
The Hawks get a touchdown with the win. 8 plays to cover 65 yards. Here to Cameron, a familiar combination. Gives Laurier a 15-7 lead. Huge touchdown for the Laurier Golden Hawks, going with the win, knowing Saskatchewan will have the win in the final quarter. Ryan Pierre has been rather cool. 11 of 18, 158 yards. And 2 TDs.
Well, last week in the UTEC Bowl, or 2 weeks ago in the UTEC Bowl, he was 15 of 20 for 4 touchdowns. So looks like he's right on course to having that same kind of day. And I love that hair.
Yeah, he's using all his weapons. The good hair there in Nick Cameron. He's using that weapon. He's gone to Andy Beckler a bunch. And again, he's getting that protection. And, Jamie, you talk about, watch Sallow again. I think Eric Sallow is having himself a game there at that right guard. He's going to pick up the blitz right in the hole. That's the backside of Ryan Pierre, and that allows Pierre to step into that throw.
And Byron Hickey also part of that drive for Laurier. So the Huskies look to respond here. David Stevens back. And Stevens is stopped at the 25.
Interesting comments from Gary Jeffries at the half when he said, yes, the University of Saskatchewan are favored, but we didn't think they were favored. We didn't consider ourselves underdogs. We came in to play as hard as we could. Right now, they have had the momentum in this game pretty much from start to finish, with the exception of maybe one drive.
A long way to go before they hand out the trophy. 6:17 remaining, third quarter. Flag down. Boland completes to Dan Houle, and we'll check the infraction.
Thought Yannick Carter might have been offside. He was trying to go on a blitz from the linebacking core. Number 42 for the Golden Hawks, and I'm not sure if he was drawn off or jumped into that neutral zone, but he's pointing at himself right now as we speak. That's always an indication.
I think so.
Laurier, defensive line, offside, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Now that's another advantage that this Golden Hawk defense has, is that they know where Steve Boland will be. He's not a running quarterback, so they can run some blitz and some stunts.
Huskies 1st and 5. Stevens, another Saskatchewan first down for David Stevens.
Talk about having the right play call on the blitz coming on the right side. I mean, they run right at it, and boy, they catch Laurier in the lower right-hand part of your screen. You're going to see two guys come firing, Yannick Noah and also Dave Montoya, and then they take themselves virtually right out of the play, and Dave Stevens runs up right inside of them.
The misdirection you were talking about earlier.
Huskies have moved out impressively to the 45 with a first down here. Carl Phillips, number 2, makes the catch.
But that's the type of Steve Boland throw we're used to, where he steps in and strong arms that baby to the outside, and Phillips had no choice but to catch this one. Three-step drop, and that's a laser beam out there.
When you look at Steve Boland and the kind of size that he is, he's 6 feet 215, and he said when he first went to the Hilltops as a junior, they wanted to make him an offensive lineman.
That's an insult to a quarterback, isn't it? On 2nd and 3, the Huskies will get a first down.
Well, he politely declined, and the rest is history.
Well, hey, a quarterback that's played Canadian football here for a long time has been accused of looking a little bit like an offensive lineman as well, and Danny McManus, and he's had a pretty great career at the quarterback position.
You better hope he's in Edmonton right now. Saying that.
No, they do have television in Edmonton, though.
Yeah. But Boland looks like he's got something going right now.
It's a nice drive for Saskatchewan, looking to respond to the Laurier touchdown. Boland makes it work. Leighton Heron makes the catch. Or do they call it a catch? Yes, they do.
Nice job from the Saskatchewan offensive line to pick up the stunts coming from the Golden Hawks defense. They gave Steve Boland lots of time to step into that pocket, and he had a nice throwing lane to look through. Stunts coming here. You can see Carter comes right up the A-gate. That's picked up nicely, and then look at the sight line for Boland on that throw.
Another 2nd and 3 facing the Huskies here. Across midfield and into Laurier territory. Stevens first down, nice run. Spinning his way inside the 35. David Stevens. And his numbers are starting to add up.
Nice cutback by David Stevens. And, you know, I think we were talking about earlier about running some misdirection stuff, and now they're starting to have Laurier stay at home a little bit. And so now you can try to get into them and use your physicalness on your offensive line to get clean blocks on the defenders.
Big Tim West there, the center. You got a shot of him, and he led the way on that one.
For Stevens, his 18th carry, he has 94 yards.
That Dale West, Saskatchewan in the 70s. Center in front of that, anchoring that offensive line with Tim West at 6'2", 285.
First down, Huskies. Stevens pounding his way again. A tireless running back. We told you about the story a couple of times, but it really is a remarkable recovery to come back after missing 2 seasons with serious knee injuries. and getting all-Canadian status in your final year.
And you'd really wonder if you were jinxed. You know, you had those kind of injuries and whether or not you can come back. Take a look at the sidelines. Brent Schneider, the quarterback coach for the Huskies.
2nd and 5, Saskatchewan at the Laurier 30. Boland has his target. It's Stevens.
That was a real nice read by Steve Boland, because Gavin Conn is supposed to have the back out of the backfield, gets caught. See, number 48. It's supposed to have him. He gets caught, and then he has to turn in and gets into a chase mode. Whenever a quarterback sees a defender's back, you always know it's a free one.
That was Sidoric making the catch and giving the Huskies another first down. 2:28 to go, third quarter. Saskatchewan has the win in the fourth. This has been an impressive drive, the touchdown toss, and Heron couldn't turn around to get underneath it.
Leighton Heron has been in a one-on-one battle with Joel Wright for most of this game, and it's been a matchup that Wright, you'd have to say, had the advantage simply because we hadn't heard much from Heron. But watch how he gets in behind Wright. Joel Wright gets caught looking at the quarterback. All you do there, if you're a defensive back, is have the best ticket in the house when a touchdown pass is thrown over your head, but they can't hook up.
And he got caught 2 weeks ago playing the UTEC Bowl doing the same thing, and Ivan Barungi threw one over his head. Or caught one over his head.
He dodged a bullet there.
2nd and 10, Huskies. Saskatchewan trailing by 8. Boland into the middle. He'll get a first down near the 5. The rookie McHenry. Another key catch.
And what a confident throw from Steve Boland. Step in there and throw into tight coverage.
Nice escape move there to get away from Yannick Carter and then establish position once again inside.
Cold start for Steve Boland, but this is a hot drive. 5 of 6 for 41 yards as the Huskies threaten to score here with a 1st and 5. Readjusting where that football should be, and they move it out just a little further. So it is 1st and goal to go from the 6-yard line.
Just 20 seconds, guys. We got to reset it. Sorry.
Well, in some ways, too, now they're going to reset the 30-second clock, and Saskatchewan with a ton of momentum now. They want to snap the football. They want to get this play going. They have the Golden Hawks defense reeling. And Steve Boland turned around, looked at the officials like, come on, let's get her going here.
Well, when they didn't spot the ball correctly, it stops that kind of flow they had. They were ready to go, and then they had to correct it and then reset the clock.
So here is the Huskies' first down to try and get this drive all the way into the Laurier end zone. Boland. And he'll get the touchdown toss to David Stevens. So Stevens does it all for the Saskatchewan offense. A very impressive drive.
Remember early on, Jesse Alexander almost had an interception from the linebacking core. Well, he almost gets there again. He's in coverage, and he goes for the football. When he goes for the football and doesn't get his hands on it, touchdown, Saskatchewan.
And you know what? The whole thing technically there, you always reach with your right hand. So if you miss it, you can pull with your left hand so he cannot catch the ball.
What a drive by the Huskies. 11 plays to cover 84 yards, and they look to tie it up here. 15-13 on the score clock right now. 2 points. Gets Saskatchewan right back to even. Play action, Boland. No. One may come back and wonder about that play made by Jesse Alexander. So the Golden Hawks hang on to the lead. A try for 2, not quite. The You think Brian Tauras is wondering about that last decision?
I don't think so. I think you have to go for 2 in that situation. You are down. I mean,
oh yeah, no, I mean that's you go for 2. It was just a nice play by the Golden Hawk defense, and Jesse Alexander got to that drop, but I think you go for 2 there. No question.
But this is a mistake right here.
Out of bounds on the kickoff following the touchdown. What was very impressive for the Huskies, the drive, 11 plays, 84 yards. And the 2-point convert, not quite.
I'll take one more look at it, and the pocket was collapsing, and that ball intended for McHenry in behind the linebacking core, and Steve Ballin just couldn't get it up over that linebacking core.
David Stevens has both touchdowns for the Huskies, one on a 1-yard plunge.
I think you got to go for 2 there.
And you know, the last thing that Brian Tauras wanted to do right now was give Laurier any field position at all, but by having Brendan Sukan kick the ball out of bounds, they were scrimmaging on their own 40.
58 seconds for the Golden Hawks with the breeze. And I think it's died down a little bit from the beginning of the game anyway.
It has, and you know, both teams have proven that they can drive against it. You know, Ryan Pierre has done it, and so has Ballin. So both teams can throw the ball against this win, and the offenses are starting to get back on track. Now you wonder with the 4th quarter around
Please
the corner.
reset the game clock to 106, please.
Both teams experienced, Jamie, for different reasons. The Golden Hawks with their great, you know, they have what, a dozen 5th-year players, but the Huskies with their Vanier Cup experience. Which experience comes through now as the 4th quarter comes up? The team that's been in the big game before, the team that's been in the big game last year, or the team with 5-year guys in the squad?
And I think also, I think your point is well about the size. You know, for a while it can be like a heavyweight going against a light heavyweight, and you can hang in there for a long time. But boy, when those rounds get later on, that punishment starts to take its toll on you.
Laurier first down beginning at the 40 on this drive. 54 seconds, 3rd quarter. Well read by the Huskies defense. Nick Cameron couldn't find much there at all. Ran into Chad Giddinger.
Looks like Giddinger will come out now as they go with a slightly smaller lineup on 2nd and long.
And 2 running plays read well by the Husky defense. Laurier will kick it away into the final seconds, 3rd quarter.
Lots of that kind of play from Laurier's offense. You know what beats that kind of play when you're trying to belly back and misdirection? Penetration. That time Mike Hartley for the Huskies got up the field. When he got up the field, it took that play right out of there. Byron Hickey had no chance. Penetration kills plays that go east-west. Play goes east-west, you get penetration, you get up the field, it costs him to bubble, he trips, and there's no play.
Devlin kicking with the breeze. Should be the final play, 3rd quarter, but penalty flags go down. Nice return brewing for the Huskies. Leighton Herron. The Desjardins Vanier Cup, the battle of the unbeaten. And 1 quarter remains. A quarter to go, 2 points separating these 2 teams, and the rest of the numbers look like this.
When you take a look at Laurier right now, very balanced, 158 yards passing, 151 rushing. But the key, Glenn, is the first downs, considering what happened to Saskatchewan in the 1st quarter, having no first downs at all. But the 3 turnovers are hurting Wilfrid Laurier, with the score now being 15-13.
Again, you think back to missed opportunities for Laurier. They still have the lead. But how many points could that lead be?
Saskatchewan has the wind in the fourth quarter. And field position here beginning near midfield. Solid defensive play by the Golden Hawks. And the battle of the unbeaten is going to come right down to the final play, wouldn't you think?
Well, I think it will, and that's the best way to finish a championship game. Two teams 11-0, Jamie, and they're both offenses playing well, both quarterbacks playing well. That's what we expect.
And I think also this is the fourth quarter, and you're going to see an emotional bunch of guys because for both of these teams, Laurier, of course, 12 guys are going to take the uniform off forever, and Saskatchewan are going to have a few guys like that as well.
Including the two All-Canadian quarterbacks from last year and this, and the two All-Canadian running backs from last year and this. Going toe-to-toe here. Belen. Stevens will run down to the 35. And these guys in their 5th year of eligibility in their final game have it all on the line here tonight.
And Brian Towers was talking about making adjustments at halftime, and I think one of the adjustments that he made was we got to get the ball in David Stevens' hands, not just running it, but trying to get it to him, catching the football, because this is the kind of runner he is in the open field. He's a scary runner there if you're a defensive player.
22-yard gain. The Huskies are threatening again. They trail by 2. 15-13. Stevens for a couple.
Clearly, it's the David Stevens show all of a sudden for the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. Here's the last drive. Stevens left, Stevens outside, Stevens up the middle.
Speed and balance. And he has both touchdowns for Saskatchewan. One on a reception and one on a 1-yard plunge.
Well, Jamie mentioned it. Stevens over 100 yards, and you mentioned, he's chipping away, and that's what he's been. He chips away, then he gets a couple big ones.
And sometimes they're quiet. The first 100 are quiet, and then he just kind of explodes for a few, and you go, wow, that guy had 180 yards or 190 yards in the game. But you can tell what a quick running back he is. But the thing that's also more impressive with him is that a lot of guys that have speed like his try to outrun everybody to the perimeter, and he doesn't do that. He kind of gets in there, reads the block, and then he tries to accelerate.
You mentioned the great comeback story that he has been as Sommerfeld makes his way, Jamie Sommerfeld, to the sideline for medical attention. But talk about David Stevens. What has he accomplished in 11 games? Well, 100 yards at least in every game, including this one.
And I think the other accolade for him would have been, if you want to set parameter or set the top, is Laval did not have a running back rush for over 100 yards against them in 2 seasons. He was the only one who did it 2 weeks ago.
Well, they're leaning on the All-Canadian now.
The numbers on David Stevens thus far with almost a quarter to go. The touchdowns we mentioned. 1 rushing, 1 receiving.
Pretty impressive numbers when you're in a playoff run, I'll say.
Close to 500 yards rushing in 3 games, 100 tonight already.
Play action, Belen. Whoa, could have been dangerous there as Sheeman, who caught the big 68-yard pass to set up the first touchdown, was there, but the ball was not.
And Jordan Van Horn, number 11, playing that deep safety spot, comes across, takes him off the route. The ball was a bit overthrown anyway, so it didn't really matter much, but you don't want to be hanging your receiver out like that.
Yeah, and Van Horn had locked into playing the man rather than the ball, or he may have been able to take that football.
Huskies will settle for a field goal try. A flag down. And they may get a re-kick on this.
And that's going to take them out of range. I mean, he just barely got that over the post. And it was a left tackle for Saskatchewan who moved prior to the snap of the ball. It looked like from up here.
That's what we talked about.
Now, I think what Brian Towers is saying is that they fake like they're coming on a rush, and you're not allowed to do that to try to draw them offside.
Exactly what we talked about.
And that's what he's talking about.
Exactly what we talked about.
just watch up here in the top of your screen. Now watch what happens here on the defensive line. They're trying to look like they're coming hard. See right there? And then he moves. The offensive tackle moves. And I think Brian Towers, you've talked about that, saying that that is what they classify in college football as unsportsmanlike conduct when you're trying to create a situation where the other guy...
No flag on the play. Third down, just repeat it from the same spot.
Right. You know, that's a good call because they have agreed on doing that, and that's fine. So now...
It's a good call, but did they make the field goal?
They did.
If they're wiping it out, this is not a guaranteed.
They whistled it down before they kicked it.
Didn't get the kick away on it, so this is the kick that would count, and this for the lead.
Made it anyway.
And the Huskies have it. So the Huskies move on in front, 16-15, with 12:41 to go in Hamilton. The trivia question was asked early in the broadcast, and if Saskatchewan wins today, how many Vanier titles would that be for Brian Towers? The answer would be number 4, and that would tie Towers with Pete Connellan of the University of Calgary Dinosaurs.
Yeah, the years they won, 1990 against St. Mary's, 96 against St. Francis Xavier, and of course 98, the last one.
And first down, Agro.
But this one is far from in the books for Brian Towers right now.
Oh, and he knows it. He knows it.
Especially with the player of the game at the control, or excuse me, the outstanding player of the season, the CIS, the outstanding Canadian Ryan Peer running the offense for the Golden Hawks. Not the head Brighton trophy, but the all-Canadian quarterback.
Laurier first down. Nick Cameron, and that's a nifty little 10-yard gain there with 11:56 to go, fourth quarter.
Chad Gettinger, the linebacker for Saskatchewan, just shaking his head because he's astounded by the kind of feet that Nick Cameron has. Again, misdirection, start one way, pull the backside tackle, cuts up here, watch this move right there. Nothing but air.
Another tackle by Dylan Barker from the safety position. He's made a few tonight. He made a bunch against Laval. Or that's another big gain.
Barker, a blue chip rookie in his first season. The interceptions we talked about in the playoffs. And the Golden Hawks come up a yard shy, but there's an injury timeout at Ivor Wynne in Hamilton. The 2005 Desjardins Vanier Cup is far from over. It's still all on the line. The battle of two unbeaten teams. The championship will be decided today at Ivor Wynne in Hamilton. Nice fake by Pierre. And well responded to by the Huskies.
Dylan Barker one more time. You know, and if you look at this defense, he may be the player of the defense through the playoff run. I mean, he made a whole bunch of tackles in the Laval game. Has 2 interceptions, as you mentioned, John. And remember the big play in the first half? He came up with a big hit to end Golden Hawks drive. That's another knockdown for Dylan Barker.
So now it's 3rd and 1 for Laurier. Look at the motion. The quarterback himself. And all is well there as Pierre gets the first down. Boy, it's fun to hear a crowd in a championship game. For so many years when teams from Ontario didn't make it and the games were at Rogers Centre, it was difficult to get a full, not a full house, but difficult to get a crowd to be this loud.
Well, it's here tonight, and guaranteed it'll be in Saskatoon next year as well. I mean, you can pretty much guarantee that'll be a sellout.
It's going to be fun.
First down, Laurier.
Well, the city of Saskatoon and the province of Saskatchewan, as you know, John, does such a nice job of putting on the big events, and Saskatoon has a great reputation for that. They have a whole bunch of people in the corporate community behind the Vanier Cup for 2006, and I guarantee you that one will be a sellout. A great crowd here tonight at Ivor Wynne Stadium, and there'll be a whole bunch of green and white in that stadium in Saskatoon for the Vanier in 2006.
And much of the crowd from just down the road in Waterloo, home of the Hawks.
Thank you. What a play. Dylan Barker comes up on a blitz here, guys, and he gets cut at the line of scrimmage, but his second effort makes the play. He's going to sneak up to the line of scrimmage right up in here, and when he does, there's number 20. Here he comes in your screen. Now he's coming on the blitz and gets cut. He gets up, fights back, and gets to the outside and makes a huge play for the Huskies.
Yeah, what also shows there is Ryan Lynch is in there now for Nick Cameron, the backup running back. And you know what? When you cut a guy, you get on top of him. Don't allow him to get back up again. He thought about it, and then he didn't do it, and sure enough, Barker got up and made the tackle.
Huskies have the wind here in the fourth, and they'll get the ball back right now. Brian Devlin keeps it low and into the breeze, bouncing down, and flags are down as well. Still standing is Heron on the return. Leighton Heron turned it into a pretty nice return after the 25-yard punt. Curling is back on TSN. The Tim Hortons Canadian Curling Trials from Halifax, Nova Scotia continue tonight, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Join us for that. And the conclusion here, less than 10 minutes to play. It's a one-point game with the Vanier Cup on the line. Carl Phillips was the intended target. Airborne couldn't bring it down.
And you know, the game that we did in the Mitchell Bowl, Steve Ballin did the same thing against Laval, but Carl Phillips caught at that time, and that really kind of put the game out of reach, we thought, in the fourth quarter until Laval came back. But they're trying the home run ball with Carl Phillips, who was really a homecoming for him because he's from the Toronto area.
And Jeff Smeaton from the Golden Hawks secondary got a good jump on that ball. I thought he might have had a play on it.
2nd and 10 Huskies. Huge defensive stand by the Golden Hawks as the ball recovered. It's Brandon Kicks in there to force the play. David Montoya has the ball.
Montoya comes up with it. I think Ballin wanted to go to Scott McHenry, who fell down. He got jammed coming off the line of scrimmage, and when he did, Ballin did not have the target. He hangs onto the football and gets hit from behind. He wanted to go to McHenry right here, but he's not open. There's the hit from Kicks.
Yeah, he's looking downfield there. They're trying to wait, and then he gets punched out.
And David Montoya comes up with a huge fumble recovery and instant field position for Ryan Pierce.
Brandon Kicks sets it up. He's a second-team All-Canadian. Here are the Golden Hawks with the first down here.
Oh, boy.
And the blitz was on. Pierre was surrounded and dropped.
You know, one thing that the Huskies are doing so well on defense is they're not staying home. Everybody's making sure they take care of their responsibilities. When the ball goes away from you, you have check responsibility. The top of the screen right there. Check responsibility, check, check, check. No, he still got the ball. You come up and get leverage and make the sack.
Back-to-back defensive plays. One each way. So now it's 2nd and a bunch for the Hawks, who just got the ball back, a second to go. Pierre stands in. And couldn't connect with Beckler, number 88.
Pierre wanted to go to Brian Hickey coming across the middle. He was jammed up big time by Jason Carroll. As Hickey tries to get across the middle, he's going to come. He's the layer. On the outside, Beckler is going to be, he's the wheel guy down the sideline. He goes down the side, then he comes back into it. but it's too late by then for Pierre. The guy he wanted was Hickey going right down the middle, and Hickey is jammed up.
Jess Michalchuk saying hello to Ryan Pierre at the end.
So it's third down. 7:45 or 7:24 to go. Into the wind, not deep. Heron. And so the Huskies get it right back after a 28-yard punt. The Huskies and the Hawks, a battle of the unbeaten. On the line, the Vanier Cup with 7:05 to go. First and 10, Saskatchewan at the 25. Huskies by a point, and here's their man. Stevens turns the corner, he could be gone. Blistering speed, David Stevens, touchdown Saskatchewan. 85 yards, he made it look easy.
You mentioned it, Jamie, that's what he does. He chips away, and then he'll hit the big one. And what a block by Jeff Sheeman on the outside.
And what a job by Stevens to bounce it outside and take the corner.
There's that bounce you talked about. There's the block number 8 to the left of your screen. He caused all kinds of problems for that Golden Hawk defense. They couldn't pursue with proper angles. And David Stevens gets the corner, and it's goodbye.
The All-Canadian running back, David Stevens, 3 touchdowns on the afternoon. And the Huskies feeling a little more comfortable now. Stevens, 21 carries, 186 yards, and the 3 touchdowns. Five yards. Man of the moments, man of the season in Saskatchewan, an all-Canadian running back. In a great comeback to get back to play in his final game in CIS football. So now Laurier tries to respond. Ryan Lynch returning there.
Boy, and sometimes, guys, what a receiver does when he doesn't have the football and he's creating headlines with touchdown catches, what he does away from the ball is as important. And David Stevens gets a big block by Jeff Sheeman on the outside. Yannick Carter, number 42, is going to come upfield. When he does, he's the guy who's got to contain it. That block right there allows Stevens to corner. When he gets the corner now he can use his speed to the outside. Carter can't turn him in any longer.
One play might be the difference in the championship here today. 6:23 to go. Laurier looks to respond. Pierre feels pressured, but he has Cameron back in his backfield. Number 32 is shaken up and gets back on.
So you take a look at that Sask defense, how much faster they look right now. I mean, they look like they are hungry. Boy, the pass rush there, even though they're trying to set up screen, as you said earlier, you got to stop them for a little bit anyway. You just can't allow them to have a free rush in there on the quarterback.
Jason Carroll, 5th year of eligibility in that defense. Ryan Gottslig in his 5th year. Some guys who want to get rid of that bad taste they've had for a whole season for what happened against Laval.
Cameron, not much, but enough.
And now, having said that, lots of time.
Right.
Lots of time for Wilfrid Laurier here with the CIS All-Canadian quarterback.
And if you want to look at the positive side from a Laurier standpoint, that touchdown took away any decision-making they'd have to make it when they're going to attempt a field goal. No question right now. They have to score twice. They have to get the touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie it up.
Close enough to measure here.
But if you're going to be in this situation, who would you rather have? But a quarterback who is all-Canadian, who's experienced, who's 5th year. Right. They always say you find out what guys are made of when there's 5 minutes left in the game, your team's down by 8, you got the wind in your face.
first down. Nicely across the 40. Play action by Pierre, standing in. Throwing the coverage.
He got it.
And he got it. Brian Hickey.
Morley Miller thought he had the easy pick.
Ball Huskies all around.
Ball was underthrown.
Boy, it really was. Brian Hickey runs a corner route here. And Hickey is open, but with the ball underthrown, it gives the Saskatchewan Huskies a chance at the football.
He picked it off a shoulder pad.
Right through Miller's hands. And Hickey, with the great concentration, rips it out of there. What a catch.
The gain is 21 yards. Talked about Brian Hickey. 3 touchdown catches against Acadia last week.
Brian Hickey, 3 touchdowns in the UTEC Bowl. Favorite receiver of Ryan Pierre. He had 4 touchdowns, 3 of them to him. There's the first one. Here's the second one.
And number 3.
Up over the middle, the big catch he just made in this game, the corner route to the sideline, and I think Pierre will be looking for him again.
Cameron.
Well, that time Brian Hickey got a nice seal block to the outside. Cameron couldn't break that tackle. Good pursuit by the Husky defense, but this time Hickey used as a blocker.
Gain of 4. This will be 2nd and 6 coming for Laurier, and every down is important for the Golden Hawks now. Trailing 23-15. Andrew Agro out of Burlington, and a flag goes down after as Agro goes out, a 6-yard gain, and a little something to cheer about for Laurier.
And I tell you, Brian Towers will be livid after this one. Just runs a quick out, try to get down the sidelines, and then a hit to the head, and absolutely Rick Van Dendermeal coming in there, and that's going to tack on another 15.
Unnecessary roughness. Charged on Saskatchewan, hitting out of bounds. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
5th catch for Agro. He has 60 yards. And the Hawks are still alive. Laurier needing 2 scores to win. Ivor Wynne is alive on a catch by Agro. His 5th of the afternoon, and he gets 10 there.
Ryan Pierre is very cool in that pocket.
You know, and he has a pocket, Jamie, because the backside pressure is coming. But watch Brian Hickey slide over and pick it up, number 20. He's going to come over there. He comes in there right there and picks up the block from the outside. That allows Pierre to throw it to the opposite side of the field. So Hickey making his presence felt, blocking as well in the last 2 plays.
First down, Laurier. Cameron.
Well, 2 perfect teams coming into the Vanier Cup in the kind of game that we sort of expected we would see. Right down to the wire.
Exactly. I think the first quarter got off to a bit of an inauspicious start. There wasn't really a lot of offense. Steve Ballon took a little while to try to find himself, but they certainly have. This has been a great offensive show.
Another key down for the Golden Hawks. Looking at 2nd and 8 here. Pierre, calm.
Got him.
Brian Hickey again.
We just finished saying that he had 3 touchdowns in the UTEC Bowl. Got another one in the Vanier Cup.
Mr. Everything on the drive. Some key blocks to give Ryan Pierce some time to throw. And is rewarded with the touchdown catch. And he got in behind coverage on the seam route to the wide side of the field. Boy, and Pierre looked off nicely, didn't he?
That's it. That was the key to it right there. You can tell he's an experienced quarterback. Looking off the defender and then coming back to his big receiver.
So go for 2. And that has to be the plan here, obviously, to get to even. No! Cameron was alone, couldn't hang on.
Yeah, we do. Dance.
Oh, baby. And Nick Cameron got all twisted up and couldn't turn back around. The ball was thrown slightly behind Nick Cameron. Remember, he's a running back now, running down the field.
But they were running a rub on him, and he got behind, and
he jumped a little too early, and when he did, he came down, lost his balance, then couldn't hang on to that football. But it was there for him.
Crossed his hands a little bit, couldn't make the catch. And that's not what he's been asked to do this afternoon. Make receptions. He's been asked to run. But Laurier.
And now Gary Jeffries needs a stop from his defense.
Right, because they will not short kick it here at all. I think they're going to kick it down the field and rely on their defense to get them the ball back.
3 minutes to go. So there's time. Laurier needs a field goal to win.
I mean, for Saskatchewan, this could turn out to be 2 games in a row for them where the other team's failure to get the 2-point conversion, and they win the football game.
Well, Brian Towers can work for the single as well with the wind at his back. At least make it a 3-point game so that a field goal only ties it, doesn't beat you.
Everybody wondering what's going on with all the whistles down there. The ball stayed in bounds. Gary Jeffries and Brian Towers looking to find out why that was whistled down. Two unbeaten teams. And to the loser in this one, the unbeaten season will not be quite as memorable, no matter what went right all year long. What's on the line is the championship. What's on the line is the Vanier Cup.
They're going to have to wave this one down again. And Gary Jeffries is not happy. He wasn't happy the first time around because he got a great kick. The Huskies had a man short, and they bring one on late.
Wonderful drama into the final 3 minutes to decide the 2005 Desjardins Vanier Cup. David Stevens really nowhere to go, but protecting the football was most important for the Huskies. Hanging on. David Stevens with play just underway, unexpectedly.
The one thing David Stevens did not want to do there was go out of bounds and stop the clock.
No, and the Huskies can't get conservative here.
Right.
You know, they have to keep running their offense. 2 points may not be enough in this game. In fact, it probably won't be.
Well,
they need at least another one.
Well, the thing is now they do control their own destiny right now. I mean, they don't have to turn the ball over. They keep getting first downs.
It's up to the Laurier defense. to change the outcome on the scoreboard as it stands right now. Boland just got it away. Whoa. And took a hit.
Yeah.
Took a huge hit. Slow to get up.
I want to say it was
Saskatchewan quarterback Yannick Carter, Glenn.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I wanted to say it was Yannick Carter off the edge, John. And again, another one of those stunts and blitzes coming from that active linebacking core.
And not just that, this could have been a disaster for Saskatchewan. Steve Boland, play action pass to David Stevens, and then just a little bit too long. And I tell you, Yannick Carter just lowers the boom on him. Coming from the bottom of your screen, takes that inside rush.
Took the hit and the ball went in the air. But the Golden Hawks couldn't move to the football. Big kick with the wind. Beckler on the return. An 8-yarder after a 42-yard punt, 2:26 to go. And now the ball is in Laurier's hands, trailing by a couple. Corey Warren with the next edition of Sports Center coming your way when we wrap up here at Ivor Wynne in the Battle of the Unbeaten, the 2005 Desjardins Vanier Cup.
Boy, that was a big play by Andy Beckler to get underneath that punt and catch it.
Yeah.
You know, he catches that thing in the air, or it probably bounces down around the goal line area.
But you know, it averages out about another 12 to 15 yards if you let it bounce on the ground.
Here, play action. Nice pass inside the 50 to Agro, who has come into his own in the second half. Andrew Agro out of Burlington, playing his final game as well.
Brian Devlin, the kicker for the Golden Hawks, hit on 81% during the regular season, 17 of 21. His longest was 47.
Cameron stopped in his tracks. So it'll be second and long here.
Blue six, let's go! Can't be hate.
Stefan Potasic, the offensive coordinator for the Laurier Golden Hawks. Looking at second down. And more than 10 here. Here. In trouble. In deep trouble. Cameron makes the catch, but he can't get back to the original line of scrimmage. So the Huskies will get it back with 1:45 to go. And the Husky defense has done a heck of a job.
I don't think, John, I think they're going to go for it here. I mean, there's 1:45 left. They're going to call a timeout and talk about it.
Well, you're likely quite right, but I'm looking at third and 15
exactly.
at this point, so there's a pretty good chance they'll get it back. I guess I should have put it that way.
No, and that's why I think they're calling the timeout, to make sure that they had to make a decision here. I think it was 3rd and 10. I don't think there's any question about that, but now it's 3rd and 15.
Biggest decision of Gary Jeffrey's coaching career as it stands right now. It's all on the line.
Do you have time to punt the football, get a 2-and-out from your defense, and what kind of field position will you get even if you get that 2-and-out?
Right, because they're going to be kicking with the wind once they give it back to you.
That's right. So gambling probably the best bet based on weather conditions here tonight, simply because if they kick it and get the 2-and-out, the Golden Hawks still needed to have a bad punt go off the side of the foot for the Huskies, because they're going to get that field position back with the wind at their back if they kick it.
You know, and how key is the coin flip? It's huge. Brian Towers won the coin flip, deferred, and decided to take the wind in the 4th quarter.
And Jamie, how about those missed opportunities in the first quarter?
Hate to bring it up. The Hawks had chances in the opening quarter on a turnover and got a single point only.
They need a big one here, a big play right now.
All on the line, 1:45 to go. Laurier, 3rd and 15. Pierce stands in.
He's going to get it.
First down, he does.
Wow.
Dante Luciani makes the catch of the game because the Hawks are still alive in the Vanier Cup.
John, you were talking about how Andrew Agro was becoming one of the favorite receivers, but now they bring his cousin, Dante Luciani, across the formation. Nice job at catching it and getting his shoulders up the field and across the line to get the first down.
And the Huskies defensively dropped into a zone defense and were way back.
He didn't make it by much, guys, but he did get the first down. A fresh set of downs for Laurier. Down by 2. Closing in on field goal range. Ryan Peer dumps it off. It's Cameron. One move. More than halfway to a first down for Nick Cameron.
Now, depending on the wind, they are in field goal range now. Brian Devlin's longest during the year, 47. I'm not sure what the conditions were when he hit that one.
Well, as I said earlier, we saw him warming up here prior to the game with the wind in his face, and he was hitting him from about 40 yards. That seemed to be about his distance. But there's a lot of other things that are involved right now.
Yeah.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4. This will help the Laurier cause. Nick Cameron, and boy, these running backs have really risen to the occasion, have they not?
Now, if you're Gary Jeffries, do you stay aggressive, keep trying to pound it in for a major, or do you just set up for the winning field goal and try and get the ball in the middle?
I think you run the football here now in the middle, but you want to run every little bit of time off that clock so that you don't give Saskatchewan any time to come back with 57 seconds left.
Without question.
Cameron, 21 carries for 119 yards. Ryan Peer, the All-Canadian quarterback, in his final moments of CIS football, along with 11 other members of the Laurier Golden Hawks playing their final game. I mean, for a lot of those guys, it's the final game anywhere.
Including Nick Cameron. Not necessarily anywhere, but certainly in his university career.
Right. Well, Ryan Peer is actually going to go over to France and play in January and into the French leagues. He said just outside of Lake Geneva. So his football days are not over.
Including a guy, guys, that I think has played very well tonight in Brian Hickey.
So it's on the line. It's a 2-point game. 23-21. Saskatchewan on top. A field goal wins it, but there's 57 seconds remaining. Or at least a field goal puts you in the lead if you're Laurier at this point.
And Devlin trying to block everything out right now.
Missed a 30-yarder early. He doesn't need to be reminded about that.
Missed a 30-yarder early with the wind.
See, now this is interesting what Saskatchewan did here. On purpose, they went offside. The reason being they didn't have the right number of people on the field. And so Ryan Gottslick realized it, went offside. Now that moves it even closer.
Brian Devlin playing his final game, too.
Eight for 10 in the playoffs for Brian Devlin.
First down, Laurier. The joint is jumping. And Cameron can't find very much space at all. Second down to come.
Now the other theory is for some coaches, they kick the ball on second down so that if there is a bad snap or a fumble, they'll have a chance on third down if they fall on it to go ahead and try it again.
Absolutely, and Laurier has had a couple of problems with their special formations too, right?
They absolutely have. In fact, they had a bad snap early on, so that is one theory, that you kick on second down, especially as close as you are, or do you get it into the middle and try and kick it on third down?
You know, I would say right now they're going to try to run the clock down. That would be my choice right now. The reason being 53 seconds or 50 seconds with a guy like Steve Boland in the game, you can get yourself in field goal range and you've got the wind at your back. So I think they're just going to try to run it down here now.
A 2-point game. Gary Jeffries in his first head coaching assignment at the Vanier Cup against Brian Tyrus, who is making his 8th appearance.
The amazing thing is that the similarities to this game right now and the 1990 Vanier Cup, the first one in which Saskatchewan won, ahead by 3, St. Mary's driving, getting close to field goal range. They attempt to pass to get him closer, and Chris Flynn fumbles the ball. Don Bristow comes in and recovers it. and the Huskies win their very first national championship.
The Huskies are 0-4 wearing green jerseys in the Vanier Cup. They are 3-0 when they've worn white. They're in white tonight, but the lead is rather precarious as it stands right now. Flag down as Cameron is upended near the 10-yard line.
Now, is this going to be a holding call taking it back?
It is. And if there's one thing that Gary Jeffries did not want to have right now was a penalty, and it's been a fairly penalty-free game, but this one is critical.
Well, it really is, especially if Nick Cameron had the first down, because then Gary Jeffries could have killed the rest of the time on the clock and then kicked the game-winning field goal.
Before yards were gained, holding the offensive line, 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Repeat, second down.
Boy, and it just adds to the pressure that Brian Devlin has to be feeling right now.
I do. You hate to see it come down to kind of this, maybe deciding it. But if there was a hold, obviously the officials got to call it.
Absolutely. You got to throw the flag when you see it. This isn't hockey.
I know.
So second and a whole bunch.
Well, they got it to the middle.
Looking to put it right where they did. And it's Brian Hickey getting it there. And here comes Brian Devlin.
Now for the Huskies, even if Brian Devlin nails this field goal, and it's well within his range, the Huskies will still have time. Steve Boland will still have time. That penalty essentially gave them that extra chance, and they may get 3 or 4 plays before this is over.
So Devlin, with a near super season, missed early, had another miscue, but this is for the lead as Devlin strokes it through smoothly. It's Laurier on top.
Now Laurier right now, I know they're celebrating. Look at Gary Jeffries. The players got to get off the field because you can get penalized for delaying a game right now, and that's one thing they do not want to have happen.
19 seconds remaining, probably 3 or 4 plays for Steve Boland.
And as you guys say, the Hawks have to keep it within them. What a smooth stroke here for Devlin as he sailed it through.
Now here's a choice that Saskatchewan can make. They can either choose to have it kicked off to them, they can choose to take it on the 35, or they can kick off. And maybe they should attempt a short kick here to try to get it into range. If they try a short kick and they get it, it would be much easier to get the field goal.
They're going to take the ball.
19 seconds to go. Remember the last time David Stevens had his hands on the football. Solid defensive play. The ball a little behind the intended target, and this is the first time we've mentioned Bobby Kukstra. So far, he makes the play with 13 seconds to go.
13 seconds, time for Brian Towers and Boland to get 2-3 plays. Remember, they need a punt for a single to tie it.
24-23. All kinds of drama here in the final few seconds at Ivor Wynne. Seven seconds to go. Yannick Carter gets his hands on another pass.
The intended target was Scott McHenry, and he turned outside. Boland threw it inside. They would have had tons of yardage there. It looked like about 25 yards had he turned the right way.
Now, I think Sass is going to have to do, you got to try the Hail Mary, hope for a penalty. But that's only 15 yards in college football. That's not going to help him. Or have a play that when the receiver catches it, he kicks the ball down the field. Then everybody tries to go down there and kick it into the end zone.
7 seconds to go. Third down, Saskatchewan. It's all on the line here. Catch made. Inbounds. No. zeros on the clock, and that's it. Laurier. The Golden Hawks have won the Vanier. A battle of two unbeaten teams, and only one can emerge triumphant here, as the Huskies looked like they had a pretty good opportunity to celebrate, but the Golden Hawks give Gary Jeffries full credit for a job well done of getting this team ready with so little experience in a championship game.
For guys like Ryan Pierre, Nick Cameron, in their last game in college football. And what a great finish for them. Tremendous college careers for both of them. 12 seniors for the Golden Hawks.
And the one senior who made his biggest kick of his life, Brian Devlin.
Ryan Pierre wraps up his university career with an outstanding performance, as so many other players did on both sides of the field tonight. But Pierre got the job done. (21 of 30, almost 300 yards, and the 3 touchdowns. The player of the game brought to you by Tissot Swiss Watches since 1853. Tissot, innovators by tradition.
Jamie, you mentioned it. That's what a quarterback wants. The wind in his face, the ball in his hands, and a chance to win the game. And Ryan Pierre did that. He got his team in field goal range for the winning points.
He became a legend today in Wilfrid Laurier football history. People always remember what he did, how he brought this team back, and especially when he threw the 2-point conversion and it wasn't caught, and everybody's thinking it's over. No, I'm sure it never crossed his mind that it was over. All he said, I just need another chance.
One of the interesting stories, guys, is Gary Jeffries. When you look at what he's accomplished in 3 seasons as the head coach, just a couple of losses. The way that he has been able to move this team, he has been involved with the football program at Laurier for 28 years, but the head coach only for the last couple. So what Jeffries got done with the great athletes that he had, and what they were able to do after last year, and we talked about what Laurier came back from last year to this year. Easy to pick the TSN turning point in this one. Brought to you by Wilson.
In a game that went down to the wire, you go to Brian Devlin in a clutch field goal with the game on the line into the wind to put the Golden Hawks up by 1, and that one was the only one they needed for the Vanier Cup championship.
A cash donation to the Canadian Coaching Association for the training and development of coaches in amateur sport will be made on behalf of TSN and Wilson. The Golden Hawks are the champions.
Well, a courageous effort for the University of Saskatchewan Huskies, who last year lost a heartbreaker when their stars were down and injured. This year battled back, took the lead late in the game. Watch it slip away in the dying seconds.
Anguish at the Saskatchewan side. Elation on the Laurier bench. The Golden Hawks of Gary Jeffries are the champions.
The 2005 Desjardins Vanier Cup on TSN is presented by Desjardins, the largest cooperative financial group in Canada.
And welcome back. Dave Randolph, Chris Schultz, and the head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Greg Marshall, following what was a tremendous Vanier Cup. Last year, heartbreak for Saskatchewan as they were beaten by Laval in a game that was not very pretty. This one was pretty to watch, a lot of fun to watch, Greg, but we got to start with Ryan Pierre, a football family that you know extremely well. We're going to get your comments momentarily, but we have to take you back to Ivor Wynne Stadium where they're about to present the hardware. We don't want to get in the way of that. Let's take you back to John Wells.
Huge crowd here at Ivor Wynne now on the field. And we're about to present the Vanier Cup to the Wilfrid Laurier Golden Hawks.
A tough way to end your university football career, no doubt about it. But for some of these student athletes, you really have to hand it to them for what they're able to accomplish through 5 years of playing a game and working hard on the championship side of your life as well as the education. And so as these guys move on in different directions, it'll be the Golden Hawks and the dozen who will graduate from this program who will have the greatest memory of what transpired here at Ivor Wynne Stadium this afternoon and evening. The 2005 Desjardins Vanier Cup, a battle of the Huskies and the Hawks. A battle of the unbeaten. And the University of Laurier Golden Hawks are the team that can claim that unbeaten status at the end of this one today. And it really turned out to be a terrific football afternoon and evening.
Absolutely. And again, full credit and congratulations to the University of Saskatchewan Huskies football team. 11-0 coming into this game. They had the perfect season going, and it was a great show they put on here at the Vanier. They will host next year, and I know they'll do a great job in Saskatoon.
I think it was just a great showcase for college football in this country, and Laurier, full credit to their win in Saskatchewan. What a football game.
Wonderful crowd on hand. Great to have the championship in Southern Ontario and to have so many students be able to attend and watch the home team.
The 2005 Desjardins Vanier Cup on TSN is brought to you in part by Desjardins, the largest cooperative financial group in Canada. By Tissot Swiss Watches since 1853. Tissot, innovators by tradition. By Wilson, #1 in football. And by the Canadian Armed Forces, serving Canadians at home and around the world. Over 100 full and part-time job opportunities.
All right, welcome back. We couldn't get in the way of presenting the Vanier Cup. You can understand that, Coach. I was asking you about the Pierre family. Tremendous performance today by Ryan Pierre, but he comes from a great football factory at the Pierre household.
Yeah, you know, I was fortunate enough to coach Kyle and knew his parents, Barry and Betty, and other son Tobin played at Waterloo. Great family, great people. Ryan represented that family tremendous today, carried it and got it done, and I feel great and very proud of what Ryan did today.
You know, Coach, I thought the basics of football that Saskatchewan tried to implement throughout a game only took them too far. I thought the difference in the game was the sophistication of the Wilfrid Laurier offense. Eventually, those plays by design produced yards, some great pressure moments in this game. And I thought Ryan Pierre came through and everybody else in association with that football team. When the times were toughest, they made great plays.
You know, you're right, and we talked about it. Full credit to Gary Jeffries and his entire staff, but the offensive coordinator, Stefan Patazik, a former CFLer who's never a star, but he always had great speed and great heart, and we saw it in their offense today. 3rd and 15 was the play on that last drive. 3rd and 15, and that one will go down in infamy at Wilfrid Laurier. The next edition of the TSN Sports Center is next with Corey Warren. Once again, the final, 24-23 on behalf of our entire crew. Our thanks again to Greg Marshall. Stick around for Sports Center. You are watching TSN, Canada's sports leader.